How's it going, guys? It is officially 3 o'clock. I just told you it was 3 o'clock, and she started talking before I could get a word in edgewise. How's it going, guys? My name is Jared Fuller, aka the Jerry Bear. Thank you so much for stopping by and indulging me for the next hour or so for the Sunday video update. Joining me on camera is Talk on a Turn Amy.
Hello.
Dad
I
is
just woke up. Leave me alone.
Dad, I think, just pulled up because he had to go uptown to take care of some things, but I think I just heard him pull up and he should be walking in any second now. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you had a great week. My week was pretty good. I hope you remembered to set your clocks ahead 1 hour for daylight saving time. And tomorrow's date is actually going to be rather interesting. It's going to be 031323. I don't know if anyone else spotted that, but I certainly did. And now it's going to go viral. No, I doubt that. I don't think it's going to go viral. But anyway, for those of you who are new to this channel, I go live around 3 o'clock Eastern time every Sunday, unless, with some exceptions. If there's a family emergency or if something comes up or if I'm sick and I can't do it, then I'll postpone it. But, oh, don't start. Damn it. But I usually go live every Sunday at 3 o'clock, and I usually talk for about an hour just to talk about the week in review, the past week. I don't know if there was really much to talk about from last week. I got my DMX controller for my lighting setup. For those of you who don't know what DMX is, it's just like with stage lighting, you have a controller where you can make the lights do certain functions at certain points. And I have a lighting setup that I use. So I don't know. I don't sound like I'm very loud through the speakers. If you guys can hear me out there in cyber world, I don't sound very loud. Not like I normally do. I wonder what's going on. I don't want to turn it up too loud because I don't want to, well, not feedback, but I don't know. It's like it's cutting out or something. I don't know. Like I'm not getting enough noise coming through. If anybody else is watching this and if you can hear me through your speakers, just come into the chat log and say, yeah, Jared, we can hear you loud and clear. Please comment in the chat. Yeah, I can hear myself through the speakers, but what I'm saying is I don't sound as loud as I normally do. Maybe it's because I'm talking low, but I think I'm talking pretty loud. I don't know. Maybe it just sounds different from where I sit as opposed to where you're watching from on your computer or your electronic device, whatever it is you're using to watch. Thank you for stopping by. So yeah, I found out last week that my mom will be contacting an oncologist to discuss her chemo plan because she has decided to go through with chemo and radiation. She's not going to have surgery. For those of you who didn't know, my mom was diagnosed with bladder cancer, and she decided not to have the bladder removal surgery. It's called a cystectomy. But she decided to opt out of that, and she decided to go for the chemo and the radiation. So she'll find out this week on the 15th, I think she said it was. I think it was March 15th. She just said the 15th. I don't know if she meant this week or next month. I don't know. I'm assuming maybe this week, just to get it done as quickly as possible. A lot of people ask me a lot of questions about my mom and her treatment plan and such. I don't know how long she's going to be in treatment. I don't know the names of the chemo that she's going to be getting. I know nothing because she doesn't even know at the moment. So, so that's what's going on this week. Let's see. Yesterday was kind of a bittersweet day. It was 4 years to the day that my Uncle Rick passed away. He died back in 2019 at the age of 65. and I had almost forgotten about it, but then I was scrolling through Facebook and my cousin Samantha posted it, and it's like, "Oh yeah, today is the day, isn't it?" I miss Uncle Rick. I miss him a lot. And my mom is my grandma's last surviving kid, because my grandma was pregnant for a total of 17 times between 1942 and 1962, roughly, or 1940 and 1962. Um, my mom's oldest sibling would have been my Aunt Judy, and she passed away, I don't know, 20 years ago. But my mom is the last surviving, currently the last surviving of my grandmother's children, and now she's going through what she's going through. And, yeah, I've been having kind of a hard time with it. The other night, I was watching TV, and I was just pigging out on food. Like, I had 4 corn dogs and a couple of apples cut up, and usually when I eat like that, it is a symptom of something bigger, and I think that symptom is deriving from stress, because I do worry about my mom. I know that death is a part of life. It's something we all have to do. It's something we all have to face. But I'm, just stressed about a lot of things, and, um, I guess that's one way of dealing with it, just to put comfort food on it. If it tastes good, eat it, drink it. Um, I don't go to the bar like most people think I frequent the bar every day. I don't. I have a beer once in a great while, or maybe a couple if I decide to stick around and drink, but I'm not an alcoholic, but it is nice to take the edge off once in a while and to say fuck everything and everybody for a little while and just kick back and cut loose a little bit. Um, so there, I mean, I'm always going to deal with that with my mom. I mean, even with my dad, I mean, his health isn't the greatest either. And so, I just deal with things in my own way because my parents are getting up there in age. They're both in their 60s now. And it's like, yeah, the body is starting to slow down and fall apart, so to speak, and, it's just that time, I guess. It's not something that anybody wants to talk about, it's not anything that, is fun to discuss, but it is a discussion that needs to be had and it needs to be dealt with. It is just a part of reality, there's nothing nobody can do about it, but, um I try not to focus so much on that. I try to focus more on the time that I actually do get with my parents while they're still here, and, I try to fight back the tears because I don't I don't like the fact that my mom has cancer. Anytime my dad gets sick, I mean, he could so much as throw up, and I'm shitting because it's like, my parents aren't supposed to be getting sick, but getting sick is a fact of life, and I hate to sound so cliche about it, but, um, yeah, it's just something we all have to deal with, and I'm really holding out hope that my mom is gonna be okay and that the treatment is gonna work, and hopefully she won't be in treatment for very long because, hopefully they're able to, the chemo will do the job of getting rid of it. So I'm really hoping that things work out, but it's kinda difficult for me to talk about. But like I said, I have to talk about it. It needs to be discussed, it needs to be talked about, and excuse me. um, it's just something, it's a conversation that I have to have. But I will say that my mom, I love her to death, but I think it was deliberate because, and I love my mom, make no mistake about it. There's nothing I wouldn't do for my mom, but my mom likes drama. She loves drama. And instead of privately looking around for, okay, what are the best cremation services available to me within my price range, something I can afford? Instead of doing this privately, she posts this on Facebook, knowing that my brother and I are going to see this, knowing that it's going to piss me off, it's going to upset me. And she does it deliberately. I love my mom with all my heart. Make no mistake about it. son of a bitch. I love her with all my heart, but that was uncalled for. Mother or not, it was just uncalled for. She could have just as easily flipped through the yellow pages of a phone book. She could have just as easily looked on Google, but she had to put it right on Facebook to make sure that she just had to throw this right in my fucking face, knowing that I would see it. And that's what I'm upset about. And I don't know what my brother says about the scenario. I don't know if he saw the posts. I can't speak for him, but for me, I just think it was done deliberately. She did it to upset me because she knows I'm going to be pissed about it, and she knows I'm going to be hurt because it's a very sensitive and very delicate conversation to have, as I pointed out. And she did it on purpose. She I know she'll deny it. She'll say, well, that wasn't the point of, I wasn't trying to upset you. Well, too late. You already fucking did. Like I said, you could have just as easily flipped through the pages of a phone book. You could have, I don't know, you could have looked on Google. You didn't need to put it right there on fucking Facebook. Well, what are the best cremation services possible? I mean, really?
He could have even hit you up on the phone and said, hey,
or don't bring it to my attention at all. That would have been better. But she had to put it right on Facebook, and she did it on purpose. I'm sorry. I know most people would disagree with me on this, but she did it on fucking purpose. Most people don't know my mom like I know my mom more than most people. So I know what I know what the intentions were. She did it deliberately, and that part pisses me off. I'm, partially over it. I'm still upset about it, but I'm partially over it because
now we're finding out other family members.
Yeah, and there's just no point in holding on to anger when it's not going to do me any bit of good whatsoever anywhere else. It's not going to serve any good or great purpose. So that's why I say partially. I'm partially over it because I'm still upset at what she did. Well, these stupid allergies. It seems that my allergies seem to know when I'm going to go live and when I'm going to speak. But that's really what's going on. Mom finds out what her treatment plans are going to be this week. I could hear my phone's on the charger in my bedroom. I could hear it dinging. So if anybody watching this right now, hit me up in Messenger. I'm sorry I can't get to it right now unless I pull up a tab on Facebook, which I probably will do right now. So I don't know. Let's see what someone had to say on Messenger. 1 second, folks. Okay. Okay. No. Go out of that. Really? Go. Okay. If you're going to be a bitch, then I'm just going to X out of you, Facebook. Let's try it again. Just a second, folks. I'm just seeing what someone had to say in Messenger because oh, someone messaged me, good evening, how are you? I'm fine, how are you? It's a friend of mine. Okay, friend request accepted. Okay. Followed by, oh, okay. Okie dokie. Yeah, I have people following me on Facebook too. Like you can actually follow me, my personal account. It's something I wanted to also point out. If you have social media, if you have Facebook, I have discovered the feature where if you don't want to send me a friend request, you can still follow me and you can see all of my public posts. But if you want to see my friends post or my posts that are set to friends only, you'll have to send me a friend request. And if you're lucky, then I'll accept it. And when I say lucky, I mean that in a very judicious way because I get friend requests from people who pretend to be people that I know, and then they start sending me messages about Cash App. And then for those of you who actually are friends with me on Facebook, you will know that I have a field day with the trolls and the scammers, and I tell them to piss off in so many words. I actually get a little more colorful with my language in telling them this, but um, I'm very, I'm very tentative when it comes to granting trust to certain people, and um, so that's where I'm at with that. But I mean, yeah, you can follow. I mean, you can even follow my personal Facebook with your Facebook page. I mean, that's possible now. I didn't think I had that feature or that option, but I do. And yeah, follow me on Facebook if you don't want to send me a friend request, or if you have a Facebook page, follow me. And if you talk shit, then you get the fuck off boot into purple oblivion, just like anybody else. So behave yourself. But and Amy had something to say, and I was just talking, and I kind of cut her off. You had a point because you had your finger up like this.
Yeah. As you were talking about your mom.
Yeah.
I'm not mentioning no names or anything, but we have another. You have another family member that's dealing with the same thing as your mother.
Bladder cancer?
I don't know if it's bladder cancer, but anyway.
Oh, yeah. And no, I don't think that's bladder. And that's on Dad's side.
Oh, okay.
It's not bladder cancer.
I don't think it's that, but
it's on the kidney, I think.
I think so. And
yeah.
They're talking about blasting it.
Well, with tumors, you can't blast tumors. You can use chemo to shrink it, and then radiation will burn it. That's how that works. You don't blast cancer tumors.
Maybe, I don't know.
You blast kidney stones, or gallstones. You don't blast cancer tumors.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. You have to talk more to Dad about
that. Yeah. I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna burn the tumor. I think that's what they're gonna do. And I think you can burn it with chemo too, but I've never heard of that. I've only, because what I'm familiar, and maybe it is possible, I don't know, but I've only ever been familiar with chemo shrinking a tumor and then radiation burning the residual cells, because I had both chemo and radiation. So there may be, with today's technology, maybe they can burn it with chemo. I mean,
maybe it's small enough they're able to.
Right. I mean, science is changing all the time, every day. Maybe I didn't pick up on that memo, or maybe it's always been the case. I'm not sure. It'd be something I would have to look into.
Nowadays, everything's changing.
Well,
more Doogie Howsers.
Well, I will say that modern technology has really stepped up, especially in terms of pediatric oncology. The options and the things that kids are accessible to nowadays, for not just for comfort, but the services that they're provided with, it's so much more now than it ever was when I was battling Wilms tumor and going through the treatment that I went through. So we did make some progress, fundamental progress, in regards to, technology and extra services that, help kids and help with children coping with cancer and all that stuff. They may have had services like that back in 1989, but honestly, I couldn't tell you. I'm not aware. But the technology did take a giant leap over the course of almost 35 years, which is incredible and it's remarkable. And I'm always thinking about the kids, and everything I've ever done has always been for the kids, and still is. Yeah, I'm still doing my thing. But yeah, so there's a lot. I mean, nowadays it's so much different now because we're in the day and age of social media. And back then, when I had cancer, we didn't have social media. We didn't have the internet yet because the internet wasn't until the early 90s. I had cancer in the late 80s. So the internet wasn't even really a thing yet. It was in the developmental stages and blueprints and all that stuff, or whatever they call it. Um, so it was just starting to erupt, or it was just starting to take off. Um, but in 1989, we had phones that could only make calls and receive calls. Um, I don't even think texting was an option on cell phones in the 80s. I think it was just the same thing as a house phone.
Even in the
You
90s.
pick up a phone, you answer the phone, or you make an outgoing call.
Yeah, because when I got Dad his cell phone, we couldn't even text. All we could do was call.
I remember the two-way walkie-talkies we used to have. They didn't stick around long. They didn't.
We still have them.
I mean, they're not as.
They're newer,
Yeah, they're.
up to date.
I don't know. Are they like a smartphone, like an iPhone or an Android? I'm not sure
I don't know anymore.
because the walkie-talkie. I remember the walkie-talkies we had. We could push the button and you hear the beep, but we could also text on a walkie-talkie. I'm not sure what the features are on a walkie-talkie nowadays. I don't know if you can surf the web on the walkie-talkies. I don't know. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't put it past technology to come up with something like that. Um, but
No, I've never really checked them out.
yeah,
I go to Radio Tech and check them out.
I have an Apple iPhone, so I don't know what the what do you call it? I don't know what the specs are on or the optics. I don't know what the optics are on the two-way walkie-talkies in this day and age because I never really see anybody with them. I see people with their Android and their Apple iPhone or their tablet or their some other device. And who knows what other device there is. There's probably something else that I'm not even mentioning. Uh, Technology is really something anymore. And we're in the day and age of the technology where we are constantly feeding each other information through a screen. We are now prone to look at life through a screen. And I think that's what diminishes and belittles reality as a whole. And I think that is the root cause of most of the depression and the anxiety in the world. It's because of the modern technology. We only see each other's lives through a screen daily. And I tell people on Facebook all the time, and I just recently written a post on Facebook and I told people, I told all my friends, all the people who were friends with me, I told them, I said, look, I'm not perfect. I'm not going to come here and pretend that I live such a copacetic and ethereal lifestyle because I don't. I'm not perfect. I've made plenty of mistakes in the past. Um, I have no doubt that I'll make more in the future. But every day is a learning experience. I'm not, on a pedestal. I don't want you to put me on one. And, um, you know, that's the way it is. Take it or leave it. And I think now that I'm back on Facebook, I'm more truthful and more open and honest than I've ever been. Because when I first started out on Facebook, I've always tried to be a people pleaser. And I've been on and off Facebook for the past 13 years. The very first time I came to Facebook, I had over 1,100 friends on Facebook. Now I'm not even. Well, I'm just under 600 now. But it's the number fluctuates. Like someone will block me because of something I said, or they'll get pissed at me because I don't buy into their bullshit anymore. I'm not so accepting of what they tell me. I'll fight them on it. I think that's what's happening now. And that's why I don't have very many friends because I'm not going to just agree with what they tell me, especially if they have no reason uh, to back up what they say. If they don't have any evidence to support a claim they make, then I have no reason to believe what they tell me, and I'm going to argue them on that specific thing. Amy had to go to the back room because that's her son who decided to video chat with me, or with her rather. Um, who is that, Amy? Oh, that's your dad. Oh, I thought it was Amy's son. It's her asswipe of a dad. And I say that because last night, Dad and Amy went out and they joined her dad, and it was at the casino, by the way. And they joined their dad at the casino, and he won like 300 or like over 400 bucks. And he gives Amy a lousy 20 bucks, like, oh, here you go, happy birthday. And mind you, her birthday is not until August. And he says, well, here's 20 bucks. You know what? You can take your $20 and shove it up your fucking ass. You know, uh, it's like, what a tightwad prick. You know, I used to get along with him, but now I despise him because of the way he treats her. I think it's bullshit. It's garbage. She tolerates too much shit from her dad. And my dad and I have to keep reminding her, you don't take no shit from him. And I'm sure she's going to talk about him when she comes back out and she ends the call with him. But we have to keep telling him, Amy, do not tolerate shit. I don't care if he's your dad or not. You don't take shit from anybody, especially your dad. And you know, I don't take shit from people. I don't care if they're related. I don't care if they're acquaintances. I don't take shit. Um, I have a very thin patience and low tolerance for bullshit. And I mean, and I just want to say too, like, he's not obligated to give her anything, but it's just the idea that you just won 300 and something dollars. And not only were you way off on her fucking birthday, but you throw her a measly 20 bucks. Really? Uh wow, what a fucking tightwad. That's why I say what a tightwad, because it's like, if you're gonna give your daughter money, give her money. You got 300 bucks. What's 20 bucks? What's that gonna do? I don't even think 20 bucks will pay cover the gas to get back home from where they were. And it's like, yeah, what a dick. But anyway, she's talking to her dad. She's most likely going to tell me how that conversation went when she comes back out. But it's like with my dad. I don't expect my dad to give me money. Like, if we go hang out somewhere like down at the back 40, which I'm kind of getting fed up with going down there too. But say, for example, if we go out to the casino, and if dad wins, you know, 300-400 bucks, even a couple $100, he might say, hey, here's 50 bucks. Go play that machine over there. And if you win big or whatever, if you win enough, just pay me back to 50 and keep the rest for yourself. That's usually the deal we have. And if I don't win, then I'll just pay him back to 50 anyway, although he will argue with me on that and say, fuck that. You're my kid. You don't owe me anything. That was me paying your way to have fun. My dad and I have that mutual agreement and understanding when it comes to money. And I always make it right with him. If he pays for something for me, I'll pay him back. But yeah, we have that understanding. Her dad, I mean, she was never really close with her dad to begin with. And it's like, if you're going to invite your daughter to go somewhere, and I don't care how old your kid is, if you win $300, you could have at least, flipped her $100 bill. I mean, what's $300? 300 bucks. I mean, I can spend that in a day, you know? What's it gonna hurt to give your kid $100? I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little too greedy, or whatever word you wanna put in front of that. I don't know. But it's like, don't be a tightwad. Um, it's your daughter, you know? Not only did you get her birthday wrong, but then you're gonna flip her a 20. You're gonna spot her a 20 and say, "Well, happy birthday." Well, her birthday is August 10th. You're way off, dude. Like 7 months off. It's like, wow, what a fuck, you know? But anyway, she'll extrapolate more on that conversation when that phone call ends because she will come back out and tell me about it. This week I have some financial business to take care of. I heard about there was a bank, a major bank had shut down or they went under or something like that. To that effect, I'm probably um, mischaracterizing the situation, but I think a major bank had gone under and everybody was bum rushing to withdraw their money. And a lot of well-known major corporations, companies go through this particular bank. I think of Silicon Valley Bank. And you have major companies and law firms or whatever. They go through specific banks. And I think Silicon Valley is one of the biggest banks that most companies go through. And so they went under, or there was a threat of them going under, and everybody was bum rushing to withdraw their money. Uh, it's a crazy time we live in. It is a crazy time we live in for sure. I try not to pay attention to the news if you can't tell. Um, I try not to pay attention to a lot of the news because it's mainly bad news. And if I'm having a good day, I don't want to listen to bad news. Um, and Facebook is getting to be the same fucking way. Like it's just people fake their lives every day. They go on Facebook, well, look at my life and how perfect and amazing it is. And I don't know. I don't buy into a lot of it. It's all mainly bullshit. And like I said, when I go on Facebook, I'm straight with people. I set the record straight. I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes in my life. I will continue to make mistakes. But this is who I am, take it or leave it. Um, so, and I also report on celebrity death too. Like Robert Blake, we just lost Robert Blake. He was on a 70s television series called Beretta because his character was Tony Beretta. Robert Blake was 89 years old. He would have been 90 this year. He passed away. He had, what the reports say anyway, he had cardiovascular disease. I remember Robert Blake in Money Train with Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson and Jennifer Lopez. That was a good movie. Don't care much for the racial slurs that were used in the movie, but the action-packed scenes were pretty good. I like that. And Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson have always been, a really good comedy duo, like in White Men Can't Jump. They were fantastic together. The chemistry was just awesome in White Men Can't Jump. And then in Money Train, the chemistry again was just there. Like Woody and Wesley are, like they're each other's right hand man. They were in movies together and they worked together, and it's like quite the comedy duo. I think they're a comedy duo because they feed off each other, kind of like Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor, how they used to feed off each other. And Stir Crazy, Stir Crazy. I have that movie Stir Crazy. It's a funny movie. I love Stir Crazy. And then they were in See No Evil, Hear No Evil, or Hear No Evil, See No Evil, something like that. They were in some really good movies over the years, but the comedy duo, like they would feed off each other's energy, and they collaborated well. Nobody's in chat. What the fuck? What's going on, guys? Hit me up in chat. Say hello. Maybe it's me using the F-bomb, or there's only one person watching. Well, that's no good. But anyway, I guess I'm flying solo at the moment, which is fine. I don't mind flying solo. I don't mind talking about other things, random things, because I really have nothing much else to talk about other than things I want to talk about, which is comedy duos. I was actually watching some game shows over the weekend, and Super Password is one of my favorite game shows. I like Bert Convy. Um, and as you know, those of you know, Super Password is predicated on synonyms to try to, guess what the word is in the big puzzle. And then when you connect those dots, you get the answer, or, you solve the puzzle. Um, but that's where I learned about synonyms, was by watching Super Password, because like I said, it's predicated on synonyms. When you give your partner a clue to guess the correct word, and then that word goes up on the board, that's where I learned what synonyms were. Just like Card Sharks, I learned what each suit was. And I used to watch Card Sharks all the time. Um, I like Joker's Wild. I like Press Your Luck. Um, oh, yeah, there's lots of game shows. Family Feud. I used to watch Family Feud with both Richard Dawson and Ray Combs. Um, oh yeah, lots of different game shows, lots of different game shows. And I noticed that Reginald Val Johnson is appearing in some commercials now himself, which I think is really cool, because I remember Reginald Val Johnson on Family Matters, Steve Urkel, and he was actually on Family Matters, or no, Family Matters was Urkel. He was on Perfect Strangers with Larry and Belky. That was where we were introduced to Carl and Harriet Winslow, because I think Harriet was an engineer, like an elevator engineer or something like that. And Carl in Perfect Strangers was a cop. And then they had their own spinoff series called Family Matters. And then Steve Urkel came into Family Matters. I remember all those shows. Those were the good old days of TV. That was back when TV was family friendly and wholesome. And the shows back then in the 80s and 90s would always touch on real life issues. Much like Roseanne, but Roseanne was really risque. But Family Matters and Full House, they talked about drinking and drugs and gun violence and death and telling the truth, and things like that. They hit on topics that were, I think, crucial at the time. And I think it's wonderful that they had shows back then that I could really get into and watch, like Step by Step. I love Suzanne Summers. I love Patrick Duffy. Of course, Patrick Duffy was in Dallas way before Step by Step, and Suzanne Summers was in Three's Company. Everybody knows that. But I was really into those shows back then, because they were wholesome. The family could gather around and watch on a Friday night. TGIF, for those of you who remember TGIF in the 90s, fun times, man, fun times. We used to take big paper grocery bags and fill it with popcorn every Friday night, and we gather around the TV. This is when I was a kid. We would gather around the TV, eat popcorn, drink some pop, have some Pepsi, but I don't think we had cans. We had glass bottles at the time. And we would sit and we would watch TGIF. We would watch Roseanne, Family Matters, Full House even. I love Full House. Um, I love the Olsen twins. Those were some just great times. I mean, this was way before digital TV took over. This was before social media took over. It was before YouTube even come along. Um, these were programs that I just loved. I mean, even on Saturday mornings, I'd get up and eat a bowl of cereal and watch the Saturday morning cartoons on ABC. Schoolhouse Rock always came on. Um, I loved Conjunction Junction and I'm Just a Bill and Rufus Xavier Sarsaparilla, the kangaroo. I loved watching Schoolhouse Rock. Um, and Three is a Magic Number, I think, was another one of their little cartoon. I actually learned quite a bit from watching Schoolhouse Rock. Um, man, those were some fun times. I loved Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner. I love Bugs Bunny and Yosemite Sam and I think his name was Shelton, the walking egg. Amy would remember this. Garfield and Pluto, and just all the all the cartoons I used to watch growing up, Mickey and Minnie Mouse and Winnie the Pooh, and oh man, those were the days. Those were the days. I'm kind of getting a little you know nostalgic here. I remember the 90s very well. It was just a different time. Even the Golden Girls, they still air the Golden Girls. I think they're still on TV Land right now. I know they come on in the mornings on TV Land, and they come on CMT at night on specific days. But I love the Golden Girls. I love Sophia and Blanche and Rose and Dorothy. Love them. Another show where the chemistry, they would just feed off each other's chemistry, and they would have the best pickup lines, and they would have the jokes. I mean, you'd really have to think about what they were saying, but oh god, it was so funny. I love the shows of the 90s. I miss the show. Matter of fact,
Sorry about that.
oh, you're fine. Matter of fact, I used to watch Elf when I was a kid.
I remember Elf.
Alien life form. He always used to eat the cats. And I'm speaking to the younger generation who may be watching this because they probably have not a single fucking clue what I'm talking about. But Elf, ALF, was an actual show. Alien life form. That's what Elf stands for. His delicacy was cats. And Paul Fusco played the role of Elf. And that was one of my favorite shows. Small Wonder. The little girl, Vicky, I think her name was. She was a robot.
Yeah.
Yeah, her name was Vicky.
If you go
Punky Brewster, another one.
Now, if you go and download Pluto
Yeah, Pluto TV
on your phone,
Mm-hmm.
you can still watch those shows.
I grew up
Brady
watching
Bunch,
those,
all them.
like Different Strokes and the Jeffersons.
Golden Girls.
The Golden Girls.
Watch their series.
I grew up watching those shows. Roseanne, I loved watching Roseanne.
Watch Roseanne on there.
But I will say at the end of the series of Roseanne, it just got stupid. When they hit the lottery, it just got stupid. It got uninteresting, if I can fucking talk today. Uninteresting because
He'll have some help here in a little bit.
it got uninteresting because it's like they were a family that we could all relate to, a struggling family. They were, back then middle class or whatever. You weren't low class or high class. You were in the middle, even in the 90s. And they were blue collar, and that's what most of my family is. We're all blue collar families. We work for everything we have, but they were relatable. And when they hit the lottery later on in the series, they just got too big for their britches. And it's like, wow, this is really totally fucking uninteresting. And I don't want to watch anymore. But there were some funny points. There was an episode where Roseanne and Jackie and Andy, that's Jackie's boy, they went to this Martha's Vineyard, was it? It was later on in the series. They were and Mark was there, Mark Healy. They were playing tackle football or touch football. I don't know if anybody noticed this, but Jonathan Mangum, the announcer on Let's Make a Deal, he was on that episode. Jonathan Mangum was on the episode of Roseanne. Jonathan Mangum was also in Married with Children, which is another one of my favorite shows. Although Al Bundy always made fun of obese people, which I mean, I know we're in this cancel culture bullshit now, but at the time it was comedy. It was classic. And if you really had a sense of humor back then, which most people, I would assume most people did, no one really bitched and complained about it that much back then. It was comedy. That's what made the show what it was. Now, I don't know if Ed O'Neill really has a vendetta against obese people. I don't know. But his character, Al Bundy, always made fun of obese people.
And you notice they're all pretty well skinny.
Yeah, and you can't punish. This is the thing that pisses me off the most, is that people now suddenly want to punish, like this was then. You can't punish them or hold them responsible for something that was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
This is now. Back then, no one threw a fucking fit about anything. Not like they do nowadays. Everybody's so offended. The woke, this woke shit that everybody talks about, which I hear about it all the time. The woke left and the woke. I don't even know what the fuck that means, and I don't care.
What is that? Teenage talk?
I don't know. I hear this phrasing all the time. I think woke. I honestly, I'm not even going to divulge in what I think it means. I'll just look it up because it's used in a different context. I think it has to do with racism or something. I don't know. There's Dad.
I knew he would be coming.
Um,
He was over on Hemlock when I talked.
okay, so woke means woke is an adjective derived from African American Vernacular English, AAVE, meaning alert to racial prejudice and discrimination. Woke is also sometimes just used to characterize someone as hip or open-minded.
Well, then that's
Okay,
You're woke.
I don't know if I'm woke, but
You're
I
open-minded.
I form my own opinions. I don't know if that would make me woke. I say things that piss people off, but I don't know if that's being woke.
Right.
I don't fucking know. I don't waste
I
a
don't
lot
know,
of
it's
time
an
with that.
Indian it's an Indian
African
term.
American
Yeah,
said.
African
I don't waste a lot of time with it. Dad has joined us. So how was your time away from home? Was it a long walk? Oh, we are down to the last 15 minutes of the show already. See, you missed a huge chunk of a whole lot of nada that we haven't really said much today.
Jared, he's sitting here doing the whole show.
The cart, that dog food was on, and practically almost empty it to get the dog food out. So they didn't have it on the shelves.
So you went to Dollar General?
Yeah.
No. And I don't know why the screen, the camera keeps coming in and out of focus like that. That's weird. I think it's the lighting.
Yeah, because it's not doing it on your live.
I just seen it do it. The camera comes in and out of focus because I can see the screen kind of pulsating a little bit. I think it's the lighting in here. I'm not sure, but so how was your week, Dad? Seems that
All right.
you're late to the fucking party again. Oh. Your week was okay? Yeah, well, that's everybody. That's everybody. You need to let that go.
Mine could be good too, but I screwed up.
Yeah, you need to let that go.
Yeah.
You take it too personal.
That's like the incident last night with my dad.
Yeah, well, I talked about it here.
Yeah, he's still saying I should have asked for more.
You should have.
Yeah,
You should have.
because I did talk about that while you were off talking to him. I
Yeah.
mentioned it here in the live. Tightwad prick are the only words that come to mind.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not obligated to give money, but here's the thing. It's one thing, and I'll say this again, it's one thing to get your fucking birthday wrong, like 7 months wrong, but after he wins $300-400, he's only going to spot you a $20 bill. What the fuck?
I was only giving her $10 back that he started with.
Yeah, that's horse shit.
So all he gave me it was actually $10.
Fucking greedy.
I put that in.
And my screen just did it again. The camera is going in and out of focus. I don't know why. I think it's the lighting. But anyway, I spoke my piece about it. It's bullshit.
Next time, don't be a fucking tightwad, dude.
He don't watch these videos, I don't think.
Do it again, he says.
Why? So he can rip you off again?
No, because next time I'm going to go try and set someplace else, not by
It's
Yeah,
weird.
Dad was playing on
And
it.
it was taking my money.
It was taking his money. Well, then as soon as my dad gets on it, he's hitting bar, 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 bar.
Yeah, and he's hitting left and right. And I even mentioned to our viewers, it's like you and I, we have an understanding with money. You and I have talked about that. We've discussed it. Like if we're at the casino, for example, if it's just me and you, and if I go broke and you still have money, and if you win, like if you win a couple $100, if you hit the Sizzlers, Dad will say, here's $50. Go play that machine over there.
He kept doing that with me
And
last
if I win, just pay you back what you gave me and then keep the rest.
She won a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I got out of her? $9.
$9. No, but what I'm saying is the point is that if you win something and if you decide to spot me a 50, you say, go play that machine over there. And if you win, pay me back the 50 and keep the rest for yourself, which doesn't happen all the time, but I still make it right with them. I still pay him back his 50
And then we
bucks.
stopped at a gas station, right?
Yeah.
They're in Mount Pleasant, wasn't
No,
it?
it was Merrill.
Merrill,
Yeah, Merrill with Pat was.
I don't know where Pat works. I don't care where Pat works, but go ahead.
Anyway, we stopped at a station or something. Dad went in and bought a lotto ticket himself. Scratched it, won.
Yeah.
That was Mount Pleasant.
Well, then we ended up going to Merrill, and I bought 2 $5 tickets and 2 $2 tickets, and I won 20 some bucks
Yeah.
just on scratch off tickets.
Yeah, that machine last night was hitting, but because the guy hit, and then the person on the other side hit, and then your dad hit, and yeah, it was just.
And then we come home, so my luck went out.
I haven't been to the casino in quite a long time.
So
Ages.
altogether, I probably hit at least 100. We
Yeah.
Scratch off and maybe a little.
You know, and it's like I was telling our viewers here. I kind of filled them in on what,
Yeah.
with mom, the situation with mom and my attitude now that I'm back on Facebook. I'm a different person than I was before. I don't tolerate
And
much.
we also talked about
And
Annie Lane.
yeah,
Well,
but I
you gotta fill him in more on that.
yeah.
See the video, whatever.
27, she gotta go have.
But anyway,
Go talk to what she gotta go through.
Coming back to Facebook, there's very little that I tolerate. And most people I think are starting to get it. And I'll even text my friends and I'll tell them, I'm a different person. I was away from Facebook. I didn't focus all of my energy and attention to a screen or my phone. So now I had time to think while I was away. So when I come back, you're going to get a different Jared. You're going to get a different Jer Bear. Am I still a child of camp survivor? Absolutely. That does not change whether or not I'm on or off Facebook. Doesn't change. I'm always going to be until I die. But my thoughts and my attitudes and my outlooks have changed on a lot of different situations. I've had to grow up. And I did. And I am very intolerant of bullshit. My patience is very, very thin. Not even just on social media, in real life. You can ask these two. I don't put up with a lot of things anymore. And yeah, she lit up.
She learned from herself.
She went off on her dad.
She learned from herself, didn't she?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you now,
She
he
lit a
treats me better than what he did before I went off.
Yeah, she lit a fucking fire under him. And it was hilarious. I loved every minute of it.
And I think I kind of pissed him off too with what I
Because
said to him before that. I mean,
because as I pointed out, father or not, you don't have to take shit. And my brothers know this. I don't put up with their shit either. But see, Wayne and I, we don't fight a lot. Wayne and I mean, we have disagreements on some things, but we still talk to each other. He's not threatening to beat me up or anything. That would be my other brother. But Wayne and I, we've only fought maybe once or twice, I think, ever.
they used to fight all the time.
Yeah.
And even when
But
we were kids,
my brother Wayne doesn't think that he can take on the whole world by himself. That's Jay. Yeah. And I'm sure Jay's laughing, or maybe he isn't. I don't know. Either way, it's I'm just speaking the truth. I love my brothers, but I only really talk to one, But I have a very low patience and tolerance for bullshit. I don't care, brother or not. You're not gonna fucking disrespect me. You're not gonna come here acting a fool. Yeah, and that goes for anybody, not just family or relatives. It's anybody. If you come over here acting a fool, you're gone. Your history. If you come on Facebook and hit me up in Messenger with some stupid bullshit, I'll chew you up and spit you out. You come into my chat log being foolish, same thing. I'll chew you up and spit you out. And I don't care. If people want to block me up, see, and that's something else I've noticed too. I shut up, cat. That's one thing I've noticed too is I fed him, by the way. Um, it used to be when I was on Facebook, it would always piss me off or upset me when someone would block me because it's like we were talking this whole time and now you're just gonna like that cut ties with me. I have learned and I've had to learn, don't get too emotionally attached to people because they will turn on you for whatever reason they choose. Um, and it could be for the dumbest reasons, and most of the time it is. It's for stupid shit. Well, I heard this and I read that. Yeah, and that's the problem with social media. Um, anything I say here on my YouTube channel, I assume responsibility for all of it. Even when people try to put words in my mouth, and it's like, oh no, you fucking don't. You're not going to put words in my mouth because I know exactly what I said, and you're going to try to use this against me, and you're going to try to twist my words, but it's not going to work because I'm a step ahead of you every time. I've never actually had anyone call to converse with me during a Sunday video update, a live stream, but it might be something I would consider doing in the future if anybody wants to challenge me on shit. But not today. I got too much other stuff to do. But I have a very low, just a low tolerance for bullshit, and these two see it, and I think most people on Facebook know. It's like these people who go on Facebook and, well, I don't need your approval. So why are you here needing approval? If you don't, that's see, and that's the cabal that we're in with that too, because I try to point out the obvious fucking flaw. If you don't need approval, why are you here seeking approval? To go on Facebook to say you don't need approval in and of itself means that you are seeking approval. You wouldn't have said it otherwise if you weren't seeking approval. I've made that mistake. It's a rookie mistake nonetheless, but I have made that mistake and I corrected myself on it because I had to think, well, if I really don't care about what anybody thinks about me, then why am I here pointing this out? Obviously that's coming from a place of I care what people think. So I'm lying not only to myself, but to everybody else. And I try to be as honest and truthful with everybody as I can about things, but and that's what you're going to get on Facebook if you decide to follow me, which I pointed out earlier that if you have a Facebook page, you can follow my personal account with your Facebook page. Um, I don't mind people sending me friend requests, but I'm going to vet the fuck out of you before I accept it because I'm not going to have people coming onto my Facebook being stupid and starting shit and creating drama, and I'm just not going to deal with it. Like I said, I have a very low tolerance and patience for bullshit, and I should have in the beginning, and that's the mistake I made by trying to be too nice to everybody. Now I say fuck you, go piss off, leave me alone, and I'm going to continue living my life and giving my time to people who really and truly care. I have lots of friends. There's people I'm going to be meeting here very soon if I play my cards right. And I'm not giving names and I'm not giving locations because of the people who watch my Sunday video updates to get information to try to use against me. That was another lesson I learned. People are sly and sneaky. Well, I'm going to go to Frosty's in Chestnut. So you might want to run back and tell all my friends, Jared's going to Frosty's. I don't know what Frosty's is, but Jared's going. Frosty's is a locally owned ice cream parlor They have been in Chesaning for ages. Even when I was a kid and before that, they were in Chesaning. Even before I was born, they were there. Um, but you understand what I'm saying, right? I mean, people watch this only, and they're subscribed to my YouTube channel only and specifically to try to get information out of me because they don't have a life of their own, and they whatever I say they try to use against me. Well, that table has turned, motherfucker. You have nothing to use against me.
You ain't got nothing on me, Jack.
Yeah, and I just realized that it's 4:00. So without further ado, final words. Dad, take it away.
See you later. Have a good day. Check on your neighbors.
Amy.
Peace out, be safe, and anything you do, be careful out there because it looks like we may have another storm coming. It
I
ain't
th-
started yet.
I think they said we had more. It's been snowing today. I think they said they had more.
Blurry here, so and it don't look
Yeah.
like it's doing anything
I
now,
don't
but you
think-
can't really tell.
I don't think it's doing anything outside. Oh, and I got the notification to go watch The Line with Jimmy Snow and Matt Dillahunty, my heroes. But anyway, guys, yes, I'm going to go watch that live. I love you all very much. You have a wonderful week, and I will be here next week on the 19th, I believe. Yeah, the 19th. And then after that, I'll probably do a little grocery shopping. So much love and take care of yourselves. And I'll probably have an update on mom's treatment. So if I don't talk about it on Facebook, I'll probably most likely talk about it here. So much love. Peace out, guys. And I'll see you next week. Take care.